Aksha, let me just come to you. Of course, it is also important to discuss the relationship between Russia and China. As we know, the focus during this visit between Russia and the meet between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vladimir Putin is to perhaps reach a no-limits partnership between the two nations as well. That being said, do you think how instrumental do you think Russia's role can be when it comes to ironing out all sort of kinks in the relationship between India and China that may remain? Do you think that proximity, that growing proximity between Moscow and Beijing introduces further complexities in this relationship?
The optics of that question, in fact, as far as your concerns about Russia playing a key role in ironing out differences between India and China is concerned, we've seen that play out at the SCO summit in Tianjin, when, remember, the trio was not just being watched here in India, Russia or China, but the entire globe. And there has been a sort of realignment in the overall geopolitical dynamics between India and China ever since Prime Minister visited Tianjin. And of course, the Russian president has played a very vital role. It was, remember, at Kazan when we saw the first overtures of peace being made towards each other between India and China. And having said that, it was the Russian president who sent out a very stern message to the US president that, big independent economies, and he was clearly referring to China and India, cannot be pressurized with the tactics of tariffs, as the US president has been doing. So he sent that message out from the Chinese soil. And as far as India's relationship with Russia is concerned, the Global Times has come out with a piece today. And as we all know, it is the state mouthpiece of China. And so that message that's been sent out by Global Times is, in fact, lauding this time-tested relationship that India and Russia share. And what the Global Times is saying is that the delegation-level talks or the state visit of the Russian president is only bearing testimony to the autonomy that both countries share, and the fact that they are strengthening this partnership is a message that they are not standing in isolation, say in a deeply divided economic climate as well, under the pressure of Donald Trump's tariffs. And so both of them have gone ahead to strengthen this partnership, whether it is through defense, whether it is through, say, digital financial connectivity, where you can expect rupee and ruble now to be directly linked together as far as other transactions are concerned, or even, say, providing labor mobility to Russia. Remember, they've lost out on 1 million Russians who've lost their lives at the front lines, and even connectivity is going to be playing a major role here.
Absolutely, Akanksha. You also mentioned the global geopolitical realignment of sorts that we may witness here. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the United States is going to be watching out for this one as well. We've already heard what Donald Trump is saying. He's very much focused on getting the Russia-Ukraine war done. On ground, however, not much has changed. All eyes are going to be on this crucial visit. What do you think what are some of the key highlights that they're going to be watching out for?
Right. It's going to be a meeting which will come with its own set of challenges, because for the United States, as Henry Kissinger had earlier put it, that, it's dangerous to be an enemy to the United States, but it's extremely fatal if you're a friend to the United States. So for the United States, it's almost like my enemy should be your enemy, but your enemy may perhaps not be my enemy as well. And that's something we've seen already play out post-Operation Sindoor, the way he's been claiming, say, credit for mediating between India and Pakistan. But having said that, remember, we are in the middle of two very critical bilateral trade agreements, not just with the United States, but with the European Union as well. In January next year, in fact, India will be playing host to an EU summit where we are expecting to finalize an FTA with EU as well. Ursula von der Leyen, the EU president, is going to be in the country. So it's not just the United States which will be watching this meet very closely, even the European allies to Ukraine and what President Putin says with regards to the war. Remember, they are in the middle of peace mediation being heralded by the United States. In fact, Putin's just had a meeting with Steve Witkoff, the peace envoy of the United States. So we'll have to see how Putin's words on Indian soil are perceived by the Trump administration. Will it sort of derail our efforts as far as the trade deal is concerned between India and the United States? What impact will that have? even though India has always maintained it has its own strategic autonomy, our defense purchases and procurements, will they also attract any kind of sanctions or something? We will also have to watch out for. But two very critical deals, which is, of course, one trade deal with the European Union and the other one being with the United States and the defense procurements. The tariffs, remember, we have very conveniently, in fact, wiggled out of the CAATSA sanctions back in 2018 and 2022. But with a bigger order of, say, another squadron of S-400s, will that attract CAATSA sanctions under Donald Trump's second regime is something we'll have to see, because this time around, he's very clear that he's going to go after anyone who does business with Moscow.
All right. Well, Akanksha, thank you so much for bringing us that. There's, of course, going to be lots more to discuss. Thank you so much, Simran and Akanksha.